Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to a new guest, someone that we've not had on my channel before, and this is Veronica Moreno. Hello, Veronica.
Hello, so happy to be here in your channel today.
Good, good, good. Nice to meet you too. So we're going to chat today because I know you have a YouTube channel and you do a
Mhm,
podcast and you do other forms of healing as well. We're going to talk
mhm.
a little bit about like mindset, positive mindset, and the things that you focus on within your healing journey. And you also, like I said, you have the YouTube channel and that is called the Positive Mindset Tribe. Uh,
Correct.
so what got you started with this? What got you on this trajectory?
Well, I started originally I trained as a counselor, and then I did a lot of coaching, and then I got more into energy healing and spirituality. So that's what I've been doing for the last quite a few years. And by working with many clients, combining these approaches, I realized that our mindset, the narrative we tell ourselves, our thoughts, our attitude towards life, it's such a huge element of how our life manifests, or the reality we create, the reality we attract. So that's why I decided to start my podcast called the Positive Mindset Tribe at the end of last year, which is basically about sharing just practical tools. My podcast and my YouTube channel, the content I share in general is very practical, simple but powerful tools that anyone can start implementing to kind of develop that positive, healthy, can-do attitude or mindset that ultimately will help us manifest and create that life full of joy, love, abundance that we all deserve.
That's wonderful, wonderful. What got you into counseling? What started that off with the counseling? Is it just something that you felt called to do, or
Right. So the beginning of my career started in the corporate world. So in consulting, banking, something completely different to what I'm doing right now. And I was so unfulfilled. I found it so meaningless. So after quite a few years in the corporate world, being relatively successful in terms of salary and position, I was still feeling so unfulfilled. I thought there's something not working. I guess this is just not for me. So I went through um, a, a deep career change that took me to just get to know myself and understand, well, if this is not for me, what is it for me? What is it that I am supposed to be doing? So I kind of started a self-discovery process, about connecting with myself, with my talents, my mission, here on this world. And I started my master's degree in counseling, not knowing that, or not with the intention of making it my career, but just thinking, well, this is something I'm interested in, even if it's not to become my full-time job. I need this. I felt like I really needed it. And even just for myself, for my personal development and healing would be super useful. And it was indeed the best decision of my life. But then I loved it so much, and it helped me so much in my healing, in my growth, and my life changed so much for the better. Then I thought, right, this is the way to go. This is what I want to work on. And then from there, it all started with different modalities and other things. Yeah.
yeah, wow, that's really good. What came after the counseling then? What did you obviously you went into energy healing, so what sort of energy healing is it that you do?
Yeah, so after the counseling, I also did some life coaching and career coaching, again with a lot of focus on mindset coaching, on confidence, kind of results orientated tools. But eventually, I felt like with that, you were kind of, I don't know, like there was a ceiling in terms of what progression you could achieve. And I started learning more about different energy healing techniques. And the first one that really called me, that I really felt that it spoke to my soul, was shamanic energy healing, shamanic energy medicine. So I started with Alberto Villoldo with the Four Winds. And yeah, I mean, it was like rediscovering a new world. And I say rediscovering, because I felt that that was deep within me, that that's something that I had done already for many lifetimes. So it was life changing. And I also do theta healing, which again is a wonderful technique. I love theta healing is based on the idea that if we can enter this meditative state where we are in a theta brainwave and we are connected with God, with the creator of all that is, with source, from there in that state and giving commands, we can clear any blockages, heal, remove subconscious beliefs, which is really powerful work, and also very related to having that positive, healthy mindset. You can't have a positive, healthy mindset if you have all of these subconscious beliefs running, operating in the background, even if it's unconsciously, because sometimes that happens even when we are not aware of them, whether we like it or not, it happens, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and shamanic energy medicine is very powerful to kind of clear or remove deep imprints, for example, ancestral imprints that we might carry, karmic patterns, or even just like painful or traumatic events can create this. I like to see them as like pockets of dirty energy stored in our fields that manifest as negative behaviors, negative patterns, limiting beliefs, things like that. So when we work on removing, on clearing those imprints at the energy level, oh my God, the change you can create, the shift is incredible. It's something that would take you years and years and years of talking therapy to to achieve. Right.
That's amazing. That's really powerful stuff.
Mm.
And to be
Mm.
able to combine all that as well, to be able to create the outcome that you want to create as well with the positive mindset and shifting
Mm.
limiting beliefs. That is something really powerful, really good. So what kind of um what made you want to start kind of like the podcast and the YouTube? Was that just to try and like put the message out there and spread the message further?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you start your own business, I'm sure you know how difficult that can be, especially at the beginning, right?
Mm,
And you know how to meet people, how do people know that you exist?
yeah.
Because when I started my training, I thought, wow, life is going to be wonderful because now I have these qualifications, now I have this knowledge, and people are just going to come to me and book sessions with me. You know very well that that's not how it happens, right? So after that initial disappointment, you know, and kind of shower of cold water, I thought, right, so actually, if I want to work with people and help people, I need to let them know you know, about what I do. I need to let them know that I exist. So that's how my YouTube channel started, and then the podcast. I've been doing the YouTube channel for longer, but just with the idea to share these tools, and just my knowledge, you know, and see if anyone would be interested, you know, in hearing this. But like I said at the beginning, the idea was to share practical tools, like
Mm,
yeah, my vision, some tips, but practical tools that anyone can use. So my YouTube channel, for example, is full of guided healing
yeah.
meditations based on the concepts of theta healing or the shamanic journeys, the yeah, with the idea of helping people, and also to make something available for free, you know, for anyone who can't invest on healing or coaching or therapy or whatever it is they need. At least they have the opportunity to start with something. And I mean, it melts my heart every time someone reaches out to me saying, wow, I loved your meditation, and I've noticed a shift already just by doing that. So yeah, that gives me a lot of motivation to keep going. But that was the idea, to share practical stuff
Mm.
with people in their healing and self-development journey.
And I think we're all kind of on that journey, aren't we? Where we just want to be able to share to allow people to know that you don't have to suffer alone, or you don't have to be in pain
Mm.
alone. You know that there is people out there that are willing to help, and people like ourselves, you know, that do and other healers as well, that put stuff out for free on their channel to receive, whether it be a meditation or Reiki or some level of healing that they can receive via distance. You know, and it really is a wonderful gift that we can give back to people, because, like you say, not
Yeah.
everybody can afford a full session of healing. So even if they can
Mm.
just sit down and listen to a 10-20 minute meditation and feel the benefit of that, it really is wonderful. And like you say, you know, it does warm your heart when you get such beautiful sort of validation from people, and say how much it's helped them, or what if even if they feel something shift and they feel something move within their energy field, and it's enabled them to heal something within in themselves. It really is a wonderful, wonderful journey, and something to be part of. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, we've connected only just recently via Telegram, didn't we? And I
Yeah.
can really put a message out for anyone that wants to chat and share their journey and share their message. And it's quite interesting because um I had a lady called Danielle Kane on my channel a few days ago, and before she went into sort of like a healing journey, she was very much in the corporate world as well, and,
Mm.
and took that kind of like shift. So I mean, if there's anybody watching that are in the corporate world, is there anything that you could suggest for them to use to maybe to make them feel better, or to get rid of any stress? Is there anything that you could suggest now for them to do?
Um, well, the first thing I would suggest is that I work with a lot of people, especially when I was doing career coaching, and I still do a bit of that. And when I work with people who are in the corporate world, what I perceive is that they sense their job is like this huge thing compared to themselves, so they feel like very small, or even if they're not aware of it, but they see their job and their career progression as something so big that it's kind of taking control. Um, so the first thing I would say is you are much bigger than
Mm,
any job you might have. And because people tend to get caught up in the, oh my god, but I have so many responsibilities and I've got promotions and I'm responsible for this and this and that. Yeah, but at the end of the day, in the big scale of things, if you see the big pictures, if you see the big picture, it is just a job. Grow, expand yourself, you know, and I think it's about building that confidence and reclaiming that power that we all have, that it is just a job, you
mm,
know. So kind of elevating yourself a little bit and seeing it with perspective, and from there also there is a lot of self-love that I think is lacking these days, especially in the corporate world, when everyone wants to, I mean, and not only in the corporate world, but moms and, you know, and business owners, you know, self-employed, like a lot of pressure to deliver, to succeed, to be there for everyone, to have an impact, but also making sure that I can pay rent this month, you know. So there is a lot of pressure, and I think another thing I would say is, well, remember that we are be human beings before anything, and that everything starts by loving ourselves and honoring our needs, and respecting our needs, and we all deserve that. We don't need to work 16 hours a day to deserve a treat, or a bit of self-love, or self-care.
yeah, yeah, that's a beautiful message, isn't
Mm.
it?
Mm.
It I think we can all learn to do that, you know, to just take time to just stop and reflect on ourselves, and listen to ourselves a little bit more, and also show ourselves that love that we all do deserve at some point. You know, maybe we can't do it every day, but you know, if we can just do it a few times a week, just to keep ourselves, you know, in that
Yeah,
positive mindset, of understanding that, you know, we are so much more than just a job. We are so much
absolutely.
more than just an employee number or an ID badge. You know, there is so much more to us than that. And I think it's quite sad, really, because a lot of people do kind of define themselves by the job and by their work and what
Yeah.
they do. And I feel it's kind of like trying to step away from that, and don't define yourself. that because like you were saying before, like you were saying, you think of this job as this big thing, but I also think of a lot of people put themselves inside the job, um,
Hmm.
and they don't come out of the job. They just stay within the constraints of the job, and even when they go home, they are still in the constraints of the job and can't step away from that and step away from that reality. So I think that's really, really important as well, just to be aware of that. So
Yeah.
some really great tips there. So thank you for that. So anyone watching that's in the corporate world and just needs to step away from everything, just give yourself a little bit of self-love. They
Yeah.
might be thinking, well, how do I do that? How do I give ourselves a little bit of self-love? I mean, uh, go and have a look at our YouTube channel. You know, if you're watching this video yet
Hmm.
now, you'll be on my channel, so you'll be able to look at some videos about meditation for love, for self-love. Also, head over to Veronica's channel to have a look over there as well, because I'm sure you've got some amazing um, content on your channel as well to be able to do that. But is there anything you could suggest for somebody that's say I don't know, they've only got like 5 minutes in the day for themselves. You know, everything's like so fast. They've got to do this. They've got to get up. They've got to get the kids ready. They've got to drop them off at school. They've got to go to work. Blah blah blah. Like the rat race lifestyle. If somebody might only have 5 minutes, what can they do in that 5 minutes? Anything that you can suggest?
For me, the first thing that comes to me, and the thing that I always suggest if you only have 2, 3 minutes a day, is gratitude. Gratitude is the main element and the most powerful one of my daily routine that I've been doing for years, and what I suggest to pretty much everyone I work with, because when you connect with the deep feeling of gratitude for who you are, for everything you have, for your family, even if you've had the most horrible day on earth, there is always something, even if it's a little thing or someone to be grateful for. And gratitude, because it's such a high vibration emotion, gratitude immediately shifts your energy. It changes your mindset. It moves you from a state of stress, anxiety, scarcity, from a state of I have everything I need, of content, of joy. The heart opens. So yeah, I always say my one thing: if you only have 2 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, to do a bit of self work, inner work, gratitude is the main thing that I would suggest. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's wonderful as well. Great message.
Mm.
I did share a message similar to that in my last video again with Danielle, and I'd said to her as like kind of a parting message at the end of the video, and I'd just said, here's a for instance, and that particular day, I was at my part-time day job and I was just working away, and I was just sending thoughts out of gratitude to everybody that's been in contact with me for healing, for any sort of assistance, for any sort of help, for my friends, for my family, all that, just sending all that gratitude out. And then the next day, I got 3 new clients in
Mm.
for Reiki. So it just shows how powerful when you do open that heart and you send that love out with sincerity, and don't just say it, really really mean it when you put it out there. It really does shift that vibration. You can actually feel something physiological does actually happen within your body when you do that, and it shifts energy. It shifts something within you, and it has such a profound effect. So yeah, and if anyone's wanting to know, like, well, how do I do that? I often say just using affirmations, and just say
Mhm.
I am grateful for, and just list what you were grateful for, and putting that out there. You don't have to say it out loud. You can just say it in your mind, and it has a real powerful effect. So I
Yeah, it's incredible what you mentioned about you express your gratitude for something you have, and the next day you manifest 3 new clients. And I love the work of Joey Dispenza.
mm,
What he says is gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership, right? So when you are gratitude, because you are implying that you already have everything you need, as opposed to, oh, please give me client, oh, please, I need clients to fill my practice. Then your mindset, what you're implying is that there is lack of, there
yeah,
is scarcity. Whereas when you're expressing gratitude, what you're implying is, I already have everything you need. But I love that example, and how you explain it. So powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely. I do love listening and watching Joe Dispenza as well. He's been through
Mm.
heck of a journey, hasn't he? With all his
Mm.
surgery and stuff that he had to go
Mm.
through with his I think he had breaks in the spine, and just his mindset, his sheer will
Mm.
alone to keep going and to keep himself alive and to heal himself and to be able to put the messages of positivity out there after everything that he's been through. And you see him in such a high vibrational, um, almost like a childlike state, because he's so high vibrational, and
Mm.
the energy and the messages put out there is just such positivity. It's just wonderful to listen and to hear to.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
there seems to be a lot more of that around the world now, doesn't there? There seems to be a lot more coming out from a lot of people. Anyone else that inspires you that you like to listen to?
I think Joey Dispenza is probably one of my favorite ones in terms of how he makes such complex topics sound easy and for everyone to understand. Um, Recently, I came across, very randomly, a book called Conversations with God. Actually, it's a series of books. I'm reading the first one. I can't remember the name of the author, but it's being very inspired. And again, it's about the idea of how we create our reality with our thoughts, our attitude, and our actions, and how being intentional, with what we say, what we think, what we tell ourselves, what we say to others, the words we use has such a huge impact, because we have the power to create. Like, we do have the power to create our reality if we were aware, if we knew how powerful we are with our thoughts, with our intentions, right? Like,
Yeah,
we would change completely how we behave, what we say, even jokes we make. Like, we would say very different things. So that's been one of my main reads at the moment that I would recommend. It's being very inspirational, and yeah, I mean, not related um, to a religion in particular, but it's more about manifestation, very philosophical. I'm really enjoying it. I
yeah.
would recommend it to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the whole message that a lot of spiritual people talk about, like about us, because we are the creators and we are powerful, about us being, we are God, we are connected to God, we are God, we are our own creators.
Mm.
Like you rightly said, what you put out there, what you thought, what you think, what you say, it comes back to you, and whatever vibration you set yourself in. Because if you put, say, negative thoughts out there, negative vibrations, you're just going to receive negativity, and it's
Yeah.
just going to keep coming back on you. And that's when you start seeing these replays in patterns, that a lot of people go through, and they can't get out of this sort of mindset and this shift.
Mm.
So that's where we need to look at this positive mindset, and just shifting our perception ever so slightly. It doesn't even have to be a big shift, does it, to start with? Small shifts have like a big outcome.
Yeah, and just be mindful. Just be mindful of what you say, and why did I say this?
Mm,
Could I have said something nicer
mm,
instead? And I always say the positive mindset is not about thinking that life is just full of birds and unicorns, and or denying
yeah.
any any pain or any challenges, or think, because that's not what life is about, and that's not what I mean by positive mindset. But one of the things I always say about positive mindset is, what is your narrative? Is that helping you? And be very mindful about those ideas, and just like random expressions we use. I'm so unlucky, but
Mm,
you are creating uh, being unlucky by saying that, even if it's just a joke, or like small talk, elevator talk, but by saying those things, you repeat it again enough times, you make it happen. You make it your reality. So sometimes it starts by just being mindful of
mm,
what we say, why, and how is that serving us.
mm. Yeah, I was just kind of like made aware there, like of when kids blow out candles and they make a wish. And it's almost like as beautiful as it is, it's almost like when you come to make a wish, you're wishing for something you haven't got, so you're already putting yourself in a state of lack.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout life, you oh, I wish I
Yep.
could get this, I wish I could get that. Oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that. And again, it's creating that mindset that you're putting out there that you're in a state of lack, or you're not going to be able to get what you want to get. So yeah, and it's very much like when they talk about like spell work or Wiccan work, like the Wiccans work in a certain way where the reason why it's called spelling is because you're creating that with words.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's another thing that kind of like gets pushed away because a lot of people don't understand it and they think it's something negative or dark. When in actual fact, it's very much high vibrational stuff to manifest things and to bring things into your reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess the intention behind it is
Mm.
is all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we have to be very intentional with the words we say, the thoughts we feed, because yeah, if we put enough energy to a thought, even if we never say it out loud, and it's like, oh, but no one knows about it. It's just in my mind. Yeah, but it is energy. It is there. You put enough energy into it, you will make it happen. You will bring it to the physical plane. So yeah, so even if no one's listening, even if no one's watching, we have to be very intentional with our thoughts, our words, and our narrative. Very important. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like watching a guy. There's a couple of guys actually. There's a guy called Victor Odo. I don't know if you've seen him.
No.
Victor Odo and there's Aaron Doherty. And they usually do videos like sometimes do videos and things together. But I watched a video just the other day by Victor Odo, and he was talking about how he's changed his way of manifesting because he was constantly talking about and thinking about wanting to see this or visualize this or wanting to get this. But then he actually stopped himself and revisited that thought because he said every time I'm putting that out there and every time I'm thinking about it, again it's putting me in a state of, well, I haven't got it. So it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
a state of lack straight away. So he said you don't have to be constantly thinking about something because if you're always thinking about it, then it's taking you out of the present moment of enjoyment of what you are doing. So just put that thought out there and just leave it and let the universe deal with
Yeah.
what needs to be dealt with. So that then you can just live your life and be grounded, be safe in yourself and live in the present moment rather than always thinking about like the future or the past or whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree with that idea, and that's one of the things that came through this book that I mentioned, Conversations with God. So it sounds like we are kind of spreading the similar messages, and also receiving like the similar ideas, even through different sources, right? Which is very interesting. But yeah, that's one of the main ideas that I got from that book. Well, if you're wishing for something, I want this, I wish, I want to have this, I need this, I wish this, but you're assuming, you're implying that you don't have it, that there is a lack of it. So yeah, so just believe that you have it, and like you said, let the universe. Sometimes we tend to get very stuck in the small details, and right, and sometimes it's just better to set the intention. Believe that is there, and just let the universe kind of rearrange the how it happens, the when, the why, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
absolutely. Yeah, don't get caught up in the small print. Just put it out there.
Mm,
Universe deal with it because yeah, I've just made a video and I haven't uploaded it yet. Or have it? Yes, I have uploaded it. But again, that was about intention, the intention of what you want to create and how you want to do it. And the video that I made was about like your own therapy room and how to create your own therapy room or what you want your therapy room for, and it's just setting that intention. So whether it's for therapy room for you to heal other people or work with other people, or whether you just want to work on yourself, just having the intention, having the mindset of what it is for, will bring that about, and it'll make you realize what you need to bring into that reality.
yeah, definitely. And then you create a beautiful background, like I can see behind you, and that just
And it
manifests.
But I think a lot of people expect things to happen like kind of like thump, right, I've put it up.
Oh yeah,
So, there's that other idea where people think, well, it's not here, I haven't got it. So you have to be patient with these things as well, don't
yeah,
you? Because, it can take years for things to manifest. It's because things have to be put into, I suppose, into alignment. I suppose it could be a good
yeah.
word to use, but how would you explain that?
Yeah, so a couple of points. First of all, yeah, you can. So manifestation is not just about visualizing something and then like, oh, and suddenly a Ferrari is going to appear in my front door, right? Um, you also have to. So, for example, if I think about my business, and it doesn't matter how many, like clients I visualize myself attracting and I'm grateful for, if I don't do the work, if I don't have a website, if I don't have a therapy room, if I'm not clear about my offering, if I don't let anyone know that I exist, no
Mm,
one's going to come to me. No matter how much I sit down and manifest, I still have to
yeah.
do the work. I still have to take action,
Mm,
if that makes sense. And another point is that I see a lot of people trying to manifest things that are not in their highest interest at all. So, for example, things that are irrelevant. Like every time we talk about manifestation, I think a lot of so-called spiritual gurus are to blame in that sense, because they're selling the idea that manifestation, you can create like all the wealth, all the money, and luxury around you, and there's nothing wrong with money. But I think that when a lot of people, when they think about the idea of manifestation, the first thing that comes to mind is money,
mm,
millions in my bank account. But why? What do you need those millions
mm,
for? Like, maybe instead of just manifesting money for the sake of manifesting money, think about the needs you need covered,
mm.
and again, let the universe make it happen, because maybe you don't need millions in your bank account to fulfill your needs. So sometimes it's about, like you said, allowing things to come into alignment, and some things might never come into alignment, and that is a blessing, because maybe that means that they're not in your highest interest. So instead of banging your head against the wall, think, well, is this good for me?
Mm.
Is this the right thing for me to be trying to manifest in the first place?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with that, and totally agree
Mm,
with what you're saying about like so many people just straight away visualize money, visualize the dollar
mm,
signs or the pound signs or whatever it may be, but that really isn't what manifestation is there for.
mm, mm,
Manifestation is there for the greater good of yourself and the greater good of
mm.
humanity, and to be able to help humanity and yourself as the best way that
Yeah,
you can, and just being able to do this. This is something that has obviously been manifested at some point because I've put the action in to just putting a message out there and saying, look, does someone want to do this? Does someone want to
yeah,
chat? Not everyone, nobody could have messaged, but people have messaged and they've messaged for
yeah,
a reason because there's a message that somebody needs to hear at some point within this video of what we're talking about today. So maybe that talk about manifestation might make people a little bit clearer that,
yeah,
we have to also put the action into it. We have to put the drive into it and put the motion into it. Because there was another guy that I used to watch on TikTok. I don't use TikTok anymore, but he used to do videos about manifestation on TikTok, and he used to talk about manifestation. The way he described it was it's to do with obviously your energy, but also your emotional energy.
mm,
He used to say that if you think of the word emotion, it's energy in motion.
mm,
And that's how he used to describe it. So I used to think, wow, that's a really, really good way of
mm.
putting it into context.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think, uh, again, like with your platform, for example, I think you're doing wonderful work, sharing all your knowledge, and also giving voice for other people like me to come in the show and share whatever we feel like we have to share. But yeah, still, you still have to take that action of reaching out and saying, hey, I'm here. You still have to record the videos and edit the videos and upload them and write the description, all those things that take time. That is a lot of energy.
Mm,
That takes energy. But because but that is what's gonna what's the word I want to use? It's going to snowball, I guess. The more energy you put into something, the more invested you are emotionally. That's what's going to create results at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you find your inspiration for like your YouTube and your podcast? Is it like conversations that you have with people or clients and it gives you an idea, or is there something else behind it?
One of the main sources of ideas, I suppose, is the training I've done. But the main one is through my clients. I love that they probably don't. I probably don't tell them this enough, but I learned so much from them. So much from them. So sometimes, especially when there is a recurring topic that I cover in my sessions again and again and again, I think, wow, this is something that many people will benefit from hearing. So yeah, definitely the work I do with my clients, a big source of inspiration. Sometimes I ask for ideas, and if someone shares an idea, I will cover that topic. But also a main source of inspiration for ideas is just my intuition and my guidance. And sometimes I sit in meditation and suddenly a topic comes to me that I hadn't thought of before, and I feel, right, now it's time to talk about this. Sometimes my personal experience, something I've been a challenge I've been through, a lesson I've learned, and I think, well, maybe it's time for me to now talk about this topic, right? If I've learned this lesson, right, I learned the lesson for me, but ultimately, if you learn a lesson, share it with others. So, so maybe they don't have to make the same mistake as you made, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really, it's just sometimes like on my channel, it's just sometimes I don't always get to make videos like often. I try to do like maybe one or two a week if I can. And then in between I'll do like kind of like shorts of just like the birds tweeting in the park because people like to hear birds, or just the dogs being playing, or
Yeah.
whatever. But sometimes I get kind it's really weird because I get like kind of like quick downloads of information of what I should talk about.
Mm.
But then like a couple of days go past and I'll think, oh, what was that again that I was like, and I totally forget and it just goes. So I'm starting to think now I need to take a pad out with me and just write things down that come in because it can be so quick and fast. Uh,
Yeah.
that I'm just like, oh, right, okay, I'll remember that. And then I get home and I'm just like, what was it again? It's totally gone. And I just hope that it comes back and resurges to some sort of memory where I'm like, all right, okay, yeah, that was it. But yeah, it's just one of them things, I suppose, where again, that's part of the learning game, isn't it? It's part of something
Mhm.
you have to tune into. I mean, are you aware of your spirit guides through your shamanic training, that when they communicate with you and how they communicate with you?
So for me, in terms of higher guidance, I don't particularly use spirit guides or anything that is not my higher self. For the main reason being that I think that yeah, we might have spirit guides, and some people have the talent to communicate with them and channel them. But I know that in the spiritual world, there are a lot of trickster beings that can be that want to take people off their path and mislead them. And I've seen this, I've studied this in detail, and I've experienced how kind of dangerous it can be. I think people take it like very, I don't know, not as seriously, or or giving it the importance, the relevance that it deserves. So for me, when I'm getting higher guidance, or like getting, yeah, like any form of guidance for my business, for my personal life in general, is through my higher self, because I know that that is my soul, that is myself, and that is something that I can trust, and that is going to have my highest interest at heart. Um, Other than that, I feel very connected with God. I feel guided. I feel protected. So again, if there is anything, that that comes from that feels very different to my higher self. For example, my higher self sounds much more like like me, I guess. But yeah, so that's my main source of higher guidance, what I trust and what I use for my personal and professional life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very wise, to be
Mm.
fair. It's very wise. Because as well, if you just use one element, so like your higher self, or even if you just use, say, like one spirit guide that you know that
Mm.
you can connect with, you get used to that energy. You get used to the who you're communicating with or what you're communicating with. Then if something unusual does come in that you're not aware of, you're like, ah, okay.
Mm.
Usually your intuition will tell you that there's something not for your highest good there, and it needs to be kind of like got rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is something that a lot of people kind of um maybe like brush under the rug or try not to talk about, but
Mm.
there is a lot of stuff out there that we do have to be aware of. And
Yeah.
it's not a case of trying to kind of scare people, but just trying to make people aware that these things
Hmm.
are out there. These things, a lot of the things that you see, I think, in like films and TV series, especially there's one TV series that I like called Supernatural. And there's a lot of stuff in that is, there's tricksters and things in that, and so a lot of that actually comes from folklore and from law, and law of the land and pagan stuff and
Mm.
Celtic stuff and what have you, that they go into. And so a lot of that is real, it is
Hmm.
happening. But so yeah, so as people, yeah, just do need to be aware of it occasionally.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially because I think these days or the last few years, there's been kind of a collective spiritual awakening of some sort. Like a lot of people, more interested in spirituality and being more connected to the purpose. And that can be a trap because there are a lot of
Yeah.
trickster beings, being like, yay, fresh meat. um to take them off the path. So sometimes the spiritual journey can be dangerous, and because people can be naive at the beginning, they're like, oh, a channeler, oh, a tarot reading, oh, a message from a spirit guide. And I'm not saying they're not, they're all misleading. I think there is power in it, but very dangerous. So unless you're very, I would say, unless you're very experienced and
Mhm.
very developed spiritually, I will be very cautious about the messages you
Yeah.
trust. And always test. I would say always test.
Mm,
Does it sound like it's something that is in my highest interest, or where is this taking me?
mm,
Is this, these messages, is this making me healthy? Is
mhm.
this making me happy? Is this making me fulfilled? Because I see a lot of people. Sometimes I go to these fairs and I see um, a lot of channels, and I think, well, you don't look very healthy for starts. So um, I don't know. So yeah, so
Yeah.
test and also see what that person, the vibe that person gives you, because ultimately I think the best way to go about any form of decision that we have to make in life really is about listening to our intuition and our own power. So yeah.
Definitely, absolutely, quite agree there. I know last year, I'm going to go to another one this year, but last year I went to a mystic festival in Whitby, which is in like North Yorkshire, and it was a great day. But when I went home that night, I just could not settle. I don't know if it was just because it was the energy of the day and there was that much going on, and there was people doing tarot, there was people doing readings, whether they were kind of like closing things down properly or what, I just don't know. But it was a crazy night that night of just like weird
Mm,
energy,
yeah.
which sometimes if you're not aware of it or not aware of what's going on, then it can kind of like take people off guard and scare them a little bit. I mean, I kind of like knew, like had an idea
Mm,
that it was from the day, and there was some sort of energy work that was going on. But yeah, it can make you feel like that, and it can take you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and
yeah.
have to be the more grounded and aware you are of yourself and what you're feeling is so important with regards to that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very important. Spiritual protection these days is so important. So important. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's right what you said about all these the different groups and the different messages and the different things that people, all these people that are going, starting their awakening journey, or even some that have been on their awakening journey for some time.
Mm.
They might get pulled into something that they think, oh, that's something I need to like learn more about. But
Mm.
quite rightly say, that, and there is light and dark in everything. And so, and within the spiritual community, it's kind of like that energy is ramped up,
Yeah.
the light and dark is really ramped up. So you have to be kind of like consciously aware, what
Yeah.
is this going to give me? Is this going to give me something that I'm going to need to benefit from? What do I
Yeah.
feel from this as I'm listening to this? Is it something I just need to push away and just, and I think now, what I'm feeling that a lot of people really need to do is they really need to tune into themselves
Yeah.
really, really deeply. And that will give them the answers that they need. It really, really will.
Yeah, because it's actually kind of disempowering in a way to have to rely on spirit guides, on a channeler to tell me what to do. Like
Yeah,
we have all the answers inside. So obviously any guidance that you can get is welcome, but ultimately like we have all we need
yeah,
inside. So yeah, why that need of looking for so many external parties,
mm,
right? So yeah, so tune in with yourselves, like
tune
uh
in
like
with-
like
with-
you said. Yeah,
yeah,
I
definitely,
agree.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's quite right because you are giving an element of your power away to that
Mm.
person. And depending on that mental state of that person who is, going in to try and find this stuff, it could actually do more harm than good because
Yeah,
they might not be mentally fit. They might just be looking for, they might be so desperate to find an answer in something that they're just like, oh yeah, that's what I need. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, going within is such a powerful place to, and
yes.
going within within a place of power and deep
Hmm.
confidence and strength. But we only get that through the healing as well, don't we? We only get that
Yes,
through the healing journey.
yes. um Getting rid of that baggage. The
Mm,
baggage is heavy, and if we have a very heavy baggage,
yeah,
um it's very difficult to let that power be unleashed. I always say, I see people as gardens. So the inner work, a side of it is weeding, right? So if your garden is full of weeds,
yeah,
nothing's going to grow. So first thing, weeding, like you said, that would be healing, like you mentioned, getting rid of the baggage. But at the same time, yeah, if you spend all your energy and all your time doing the healing or the weeding, yeah, you're going to have a very clean piece of grass, but nothing's going to grow. So part of the active work has to be to plant the seeds and to water those seeds and to nurture those seeds for something to grow. And it's the same with us. So it starts with the healing, and getting rid of that heavy baggage that holds us back, that keeps us in low vibration. But there has to be also an active element of going within and nurturing our talents, our strengths, our treasures, our wisdom, our inner wisdom, our inner power. So yeah, super important, and that only happens when we get rid of of what is kind of blurring the vision and going within and finding ourselves. Yeah.
because I think ultimately that's kind of like the job of a healer for me is to empower the person and make them see that
Yes.
they are the powerhouse. They've got everything that they need within them. I kind of help guide them on that direction to make them realize that, yeah, that there is something more deep within me. They can feel the change, they can feel the transition, they can feel things that are going on. And then I mean, especially on my journey, but what I felt with doing the healing and doing the progression over the many, many years, um, what happened for me is all the stuff that I needed to grow, all the stuff that I needed to flourish, all the stuff that I needed to find was kind of like given to me and put into my field of vision, put into my orbit or my vibration, because um, I suppose the universe and my soul knew what element of alignment I needed at that time. So it just kind of, there you go. There's your next thing. There's your next thing to work on. There's your next thing to work on. And in time, you become you become so grounded. But you're all,
Mm.
it's kind of like you become like a tree. You become so rooted, but you
Yeah.
just open up and you flourish and become so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I love what you said about healing is about empowering the person.
Mhm.
Because if you just make them addicted, to come to you for a reading, for a Reiki session, for a healing, for a whatever it is, how are you serving them? You're not serving them. So I totally agree with you. It's about empowering the person. And I also love what you say about how you were kind of like receiving, or the pieces were fitting into place.
Mhm.
And sometimes because I hear a lot of people who want to kind of like transform their lives overnight. And oh my God, it's so not like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that. It is kind of a lifetime process,
Mm.
isn't it? Like to really heal everything. Like I've done God knows how many years of healing and self-development, over 10 years. And I still have so many more to go. I still see myself as a work in progress, right? Um, Celebrating what I have achieved, of course. But yeah, and sometimes when people are like, "No, but I need to change my life completely overnight," I'm like, "Well, you're gonna be a bit disappointed."
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's very important to embrace each step of the journey, because there's also that element of you need to be ready for the next step, right? Otherwise, imagine, I don't know, if 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, when I was, like deep in the corporate world, only caring about having a good job, money, a lot of drama in my relationships, my confidence was kind of like non-existing. If I had, if someone had given me a bomb of all the healing I had to goes really, I would have exploded. I wouldn't have been able to process it a lot, right? So yeah, so it's about embracing each step and celebrating each step as we go. Yeah, but a lifetime journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely beautifully put. Yeah, because I mean we're far from perfect, and we keep tripping up, we fall over, and we just pick ourselves up and we say, right, thank you for that lesson, and move on with it, because
Yeah.
every stumbling block, I mean, you have to fall down to learn, don't you, from your mistakes. So,
Yeah.
be grateful for the stumbling blocks and be grateful for the hard times, because there is lesson and learning in all of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you want to share like all the mistakes you've made, like imagine how many mistakes I've made in my life, quite a few. If I could, if I were given a platform where everyone in the world would listen to all my mistakes, and I would warn them, don't do this, don't make this mistake, you don't have to do this. But at the same time, someone might just have to go through that
Mhm.
mistake to learn.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's how we learn. One
Abs-
mistake at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. One stumbling stone at a time. We just get
Exactly.
there. Yeah, absolutely. So wise words. Um, so anything you want to, because we've been chatting for nearly an hour already.
I
So
know. Time
is there
flies when you're
anything
in
you
good
want
company,
to,
doesn't it?
just whoosh, gone. Is there anything that you wanted to finish the video on? Any messages for anybody?
Um, I think I'm going to go intuitively and say the time is now. The time is now to go deep within, and don't be scared, because it's such a beautiful process. I think this is one of the main blockages that I see in people who want to, improve themselves, but and sometimes they're like, oh, I would love to go to your meditation session, but and I can see how they're scared of maybe an emotion coming up or a past experience. And but don't be afraid of it, because that's part of the beauty. And actually, with the right guidance and in the right space, it can be a beautiful process. And I think we need to tune into the energies around. which I believe are all about bringing change. And so let's make the most of that kind of collective energy to get rid of that baggage that we all have. And sometimes people are very embarrassed because they think, oh, something really bad happened to me and that's created a lot of trauma in my life, and they feel that they're the only ones, but they're
Mm.
so not. Like, it's happened to everyone, to different situations, of course. But yeah, I think it is now the time to get rid of the baggage, going deep within, and really like become the balls of light and kindness that we are supposed to be. We are light, and the world needs more light, and that only happens by, like you said, healing, getting rid of that baggage, looking inside, bringing that power out, unleashing that power, the inner wisdom. And oh my god, if everyone did that, wouldn't the world be a very different place? I believe.
Yeah. Well, what a beautiful message. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for ending that video on that. So I will link all of Veronica's socials below, so you can go and visit her YouTube channel. You can find her, well, wherever she is. I will put all the social links below, and so you can go over and find Veronica there. You can check out some of her videos, subscribe to her channel as well, and give the videos a thumbs up and give them a like. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and a like, and subscribe to the channel as well if you've enjoyed this video, if you found it empowering, uplifting, good. That's what we're here for, and we're all here to help each other. So don't be afraid of the journey. Embrace it. Embrace every single step. So thank you very much, Veronica. Much love to you.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure. And thank you for providing this platform and sharing your valuable knowledge and your time and your beautiful energy. Thank
Thank
you.
you for sharing yours too. Thank you. Have a lovely day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Love and light, everyone.